third speaker, Dr. Marcia Zeng from Kent State University.
Thank you, and I know that as a student, it's always feel tired and listen, right? I had to use this PowerPoint way. But just a while ago, I took a whole day, as a student, I took a whole day course by Edward Taft. If you know visual information visualization, it's one of it's Leonardo da Vinci data. He doesn't use any PowerPoint. He said he gave us 4 books. Sometimes we start with reading 1 page, then discuss. So, but because it's a short time, I will still use PowerPoint. Sometime maybe I will say, you tell me what this means. Maybe the title is a little bit strange, the smart data. Right? We did talk about smart data in the school. Yes. Okay. Good. So, what is smart data? I want to give you first some background of these smart data. Because we know that we have the technology that are advanced today with semantic web technologies. Both Dr. Chin and Charlene was talking about a lot of things. Behind this, there are RDF databases, a new kind of graph database, instead of traditional relational database. Text analysis, and big data. All probably know a lot more big data than I do. So the big data and the technologies allow us to discover access a lot of big, huge data, and also discover patterns and the connections formerly hidden from view. This is so important because we do science. We analyze the things we know, or we know what we are not clear yet. We study them. Majority of the science you're doing this. Say why I study this particular chemical compound. Because we know it exists, but we don't know what's happened, what's working. So you know what you don't know. So you are studying and trying to solve those unknowns. The big data try to answer the question unknown. You don't even know what you don't know, right? So that is how the difference is in today's technology. Now this technology allows us to discover those hidden patterns and connect those formerly hidden unknown to reconstruct the past. Why something happened? Why was that at that time, at that point? We have to rebuild the past and discover the impact of the virtual and real environment. Then you bring these complex things to light and to serve, to become knowledge. So this is what's happening now in the advanced technology, but our focus would be the unknowns. So you should feel good when you design any project. You say, I don't have a good hypothesis, I just want to discover what's in that data. And is there any relationship between them? Then you're fine, because you're discovering the unknown. Okay? So big data is a new oil. People say that why it's new oil? Because it's tied with economy. And you go to the website everywhere, every major economic, consumer, and public health data are considering the data is so important. It's a new oil. Whoever has data who becomes rich. Why Amazon becomes sustained and rich. And why some other competitors die? Because they keep data, right? They show you, say, people bought this, also bought that. Why they know that? They came from data, from vast amount of data. So they would say data is new oil. Whoever has that who will become rich. However, the questions typically asked on big data always say, what if your data volume gets so large and it's so different, so mass, and you don't know how to deal with that? Is that happening? Dr. Zeng was showing how complicated to find problems in the data, right? Do you store any of your data? Are people really storing them? Where do they do the big data? And do you analyze it though? And what is the coverage? How you skew that? What's the quality of this? How can you find out which data points are really important? Say, did you miss any important thing and you only picked up small things? So those are big data asking all these questions. And then how can you use it to your best advantage? That's another question. So this was a picture showing the prediction of 2020. The data size will be 44 times greater than it was in 2009. And this was showing the size today, 5 years ago and today. However, you can see in 2020 it's huge. But are all this data used in any lives? Usually, so far, only 0.5% to 1% of the data is used in analysis. This is the truth. Okay? Now, so in other words to say, data is oil, but just like you drive cars, everyone already drive cars, right? And you have to get gasoline. Those are refined oil. Those are not original oil. So data, big data, just like you start to extracting the crude oil, you transport and sell, and then you using the pipeline and put to different places and put in the silos, and then you move around. That is. But this is just say you got oil. But how that become the oil to go to your car? That need to be refined. So data has to be refined. That we consider big data is only the crude oil. You have to refine that. So there is a basic shift in today's data. Now there are more data than ever before. Every day people are producing data. Data are massive, and all kind of data. They must be clean, and the correlations can be helped making your decision. How I decide that to start some kind of vaccine to prevent this kind of virus. It was based on the data, what kind of virus going on and passing, which pass to the city. And through the big data analysis, right? So which correlation can help you in making decisions? Those are the shifted today, not just collect, but say what is useful. Well, that is what we call smart data. You can see if you are, many of you are online, if you search smart data now, you will see a lot of talking about smart data, and especially about it's not big data, it's smart data. That makes sense, yes. And even some people were asking, is big data dead? But the words of big data are still huge, and you have to think about smart data in the connection with its big, with its characteristics. So in summary, the data has to be clean, transform, and analyze to unlock its hidden potential. Once you have that, no matter it's structured, unstructured, or structured, semi-structured, or the already well-trained data, you are turn them into smart data to reflect the research priorities of a particular field. Like Dr. Chin said, it's not single one of them. It's a combination. It's beyond any discipline together. And smart data then can help you to make decisions. There are many people talking about smart data. You say smart data means information that actually makes sense. It's different to just like you see a long list of numbers reflecting weekly sales versus from there you identify the peaks and strongest in sales. That's a difference. And there was a professor in Germany who has a book about the smart data instead of big data. And you can see the cover, there are lots of little things here that's big, but smart data is just the one that pick up what makes sense to you. Okay, another quote, it's big data plus internet is smart data. Then you heard today a lot of the data science, what data science are doing in here. And also, the quote says, big data is the problem and the smart data is the solution. It's a solution. The main difference is that between this is that one, when you talk about big data, is talking more emphasized on the science. When you talk about smart data, it's more talking about application. Make this useful. Right. This was one of the slides I took from a keynote about transforming big data into smart data. So he uses the asthma data as an example, how you predict that there will be more people this week will come to the clinics because they have problem of asthma. Problem. Which months? Which city? Why? So they have the data, a lot of big data, the real-time signals, people levels, and public health data, and also publication and corrected when people search the terms on the online. Many data, they do like big data, the 4V together. But from analysis, you go semantics, you find the value, another V, the fifth V, the value. So understanding the relationship between health signals and the asthma attack, then you can provide the actionable information. See, I'm talking later, refer back. Data go to information. Information go to knowledge, right? We all know that. So they will say what risk factor influence asthma control. What is the contribution of each risk factor? If there are too many flowers blooming, would that be a problem? Would that the season? So you get the data to help you answer the question. This is one of the way of looking at smart data. So who are taking care of this? Well, this is a good business impact in Silicon Valley. And if you know NoSQL, if you know non-traditional database, you find job in the site right away. Yeah. So Silicon Valley has an annual conference called Semantic Technology Conference. This conference was this August in San Jose. It's called Smart Data Conference, combined with NoSQL and Semantic Web Technology Conference. This is the topics that they are talking. You can see many of them relate to what we talk about data science have been doing. I'm sure you have all the things inside. But also a lot of semantic related, semantic technology, linked data, ontologies, all these are contributing to the semantic data topics. And there's free webinar to go if you want. This is in December 10, I think. If you still have time, you can register for that. This whole series of for data science, this is a smart data series. It's free. Okay, you can take the offered by the big companies I mentioned to you in the Silicon Valley doing this. So the industries pay a lot of attention. But my talk is not about industry or customer service. I'm talking about humanity. So, smart data for humanities. Question. Well, how does this relate to our iSchool students and information professionals? Well, we mostly graduate when we go to the information profession. Many people also relate to humanities. So I want to just give you a few examples to show you how the smart data are used for this. But for digital humanities, it is a field that people is trying to define the definition. And one of the things they all agree is that this is intersection between humanities and digital information technology. And it applied big data mathematical research techniques to this description and analysis of cultural object. So-called cultural object including art, literature, and technology artifacts themselves. All of this, right? So if this is digital humanities, then I'll show you another conference in August. It's held July in Australia. It's the 2015 Digital Humanities Global Conference. This is the tag cloud I just made, and you can see how many talking about what your data science do, analysis, a lot of things talking about artificial intelligence, automatic recognition from images, and the many things that we learned here. And the keynote was from Harvard, it's University's Meta Lab. His talk was about small data, big data. And another keynote was from Intel, it's the VP for user experience. You see, why those people all talking about digital humanities? Digital humanities, it's the new area, it's booming and showing a lot of potentials. Now back to ancient the data to information to knowledge to wisdom. This was probably covered in your classes as well, right? So if you only have data, you don't know yet. You know nothing. But if you make that into information, you know how things happening, you figure it out, and then you say what? You correlate the facts, reasons together, and make that into why, that wisdom. So data, information, knowledge, wisdom. They actually have another great visualization of how mass data structure becomes structured data and then become information and knowledge. This is from last year's best book called Knowledge is Beautiful, about the changes of this. You can make a copy later. Yeah. Okay. So we have this idea, we know that we cannot stop at the data, we have to make it into information and make that into knowledge and contribute to the wisdom. Right? So I'm going to show you one, we don't have time to go to the video now, but you can go to take a look at the video when you go home, the link here, okay? This video is a nature video. It's a nature. And this article is published, it's called The Network Framework of Cultural History, published in Science magazine. And I was talking with Dr. Sam Oh last year. We say we need to get something and publish in Science. But Science, why Science publish something about humanity? You see that? There's some kind of interesting thing going on. Okay. Anyone can figure out what these colors mean here? It's starting, I'm talking, this is the 3,000 years. So this is 155 CE year. Anywhere there is a blue dot means that someone is born there. And this person moved to another place and to die there. Okay? So it's about the artists, mainly the artists, but also the thinkers, the major writers, philosophers, and where they were born and where they died. Okay, you will say, why people all die at Rome at that time? Well, it's related to the Roman Empire, the strength of the Roman Empire. And then after a while, so the Rome started to form as a center of culture at that point. And also you can see Istanbul in there. Okay? And later, I'm just showing you a few. Go back to see the video. This is the from the competition that's starting to have more than one culture centers that form, and especially related to, this is 18, yeah, especially related to the down of the Roman Empire. Other competitors come in and people go to different places. So it shows Paris and other places to become the center. It also shows how the European thing come to America. You can see when they come to America, where they come? On this east coast, right? They come to the east coast. But what happened now? Can you guess, predict? Today, or about 100 years ago, it's still red on this side more, where people today choose place to die. Okay, we can tell from the other image. Now they come to the east coast, and they started to move to the west, but this was 1870, and now, after a while, 1950, why suddenly so many come to the west coast? Anything related to that? So it's related to the transportation, the railway built, the technology made available, you can travel easily. It's also because the car, personal affordable car available. So this also related to the economics, can you see that? And if they go back to the way that I skipped one of the slides, this is how they visualize. Dr. Lin was showing how to visualize. They visualize each person. This is the our first president's great-great-grandfather. Each person stops, go from a place and go to another place. In the video, you can see that. It's a huge visualization project. Okay? So what this gives us, any ideas? This gives some ideas about the different kind of culture center, how they form, and show you the history of cultural development of the 3,000 years. Okay. So we have this data from Freebase. It's called Wikidata. That also is from the knowledge graph is also from the urine list of artist name. This is how our authority file, that's library information science make authority file. And another artist of the world kind of dictionary together. So you can read the paper and do. But let's think about why Science magazine published this and why the video is published by the Nature. It's just about culture, right? So you can see that digital humanities is considered as a science. It's the way that we see behind this work on, it is science. It's computer generated digital humanity history. Any question about this one? Can you guess what kind of data? If you will make this video, what kind of data you need? You need to choose who are the people to include, right? For the major philosopher, artist, writer. What else? What kind of data we have? What the blue dot and red dot? You have to have the birth time, birthplace, and death time, death place, right? That's the structured data. Even you have a lot of information about each artist. This is the part of data you're looking, and you look across 3,000 years. And those databases that are available help you to take those data. They control already. For Leonardo da Vinci, no matter if your name in Italian or in English or in Chinese or Korean, you have one unified ID. That is you. So the data are behind this are structured data. So I give you another thing. You can see the hierarchy from unstructured data to pretty structured data to semi-structured to structured data. The higher point make the big data cover all the structure, kind of different structured form, but it will make sense once you pick the particular ones to make a structured data and to analyze and visualize them. This is another great article that you can find online. It's a big, smart, clean, messy data in the humanities. Doing this kind of research usually come from multiple disciplines. Some are humanities, some are data analysis, some are visualization, designer, and even visual communication design. How do you design in colors and patterns? So I recommend you take a look at the video when you get home. Only 5 minutes video. Okay. And we talk about from data now grow, so bigger and bigger. Then make structured data. Yes, the structured data also now, if you get bigger and bigger, and you use network way to coordinate different kind of structured data, then it will make the data bigger and also increasing smart. Okay. That's a very visualized way to explain. But you always say data, data, data. What about text? It's called big text. This is again also from the Smart Data Logic webinar. So they were talking big text because majority of the information is unstructured text. You get the reports, you get a lot of things, the data is hidden there, so it's a big text. And big text in the humanities, people also call them as the text version of big data. Okay? Where we can find in relating to our libraries, information science, special collections, a lot of them are text, you see that? The archives, oral history, annual reports, the provenance index, like the sales data of several hundred years, and inventories, all of this are in the way in the text format. So how will you have to do that? You have to do fact mining and do analysis, not just text mining, but fact mining. So what we need, I have some tools to show you to do mine the text. I'm sure you have already used. So this is my example from an archive related to the concentration camp by the World War II that killed a lot of Jewish people. Because I went to visit there and I was looking at where the Jews, the immigrant, the refugees come from. And so there is a finding aids of the Shanghai collection. Now, finding aids is that you have an archive, for example, your company has all the data recorded. Maybe it's a whole room, maybe many boxes, and each box has folder. So someone will come here, write so-called finding aids to say what this whole room collection was and what in each boxes, what in each folders. So give you the information. So I have this about the Shanghai collection related to the Jewish people escaped from World War II to Shanghai. So you get the information, just the abstract gives you a little bit idea of what it is. And the historical note, how, who started to collect them, how did that. And also the scope and the content note. And details of so-called, you see, serials, and then in the boxes, they all going down several pages. Sometimes you would make an archive for people a whole year to just develop one metadata record, just different from libraries, okay? But they work in the library, they are a special collection. So you can see how many things are hidden in the text. Scope. Can anyone figure out what this is? Historical note, abstract. But even you read through. So if I use a data analysis tool, I use that and figure out based on what information you told me, in which box, in which folder, in which title and scope. I use the OpenCollate tool to do the analyze. So the machine has already learned the data and has huge knowledge base behind that and the taxonomy, like Dr. Charlene said. You can try this OpenCollate and you try the demo, just copy text into that, you will get the outcome. So now I get information about topics, about special topics, the topic here, but more. See, we have about the facility, what kind of thing talk about, what the organization involved, what person, each person. You all have the data digged out by this software, right? The text mining. And also the facts. Facts are even more important because they're not just names of people, they talk about what's happening and the location of them. The facts are coming from the different kind of mashup. For example, when you talk about a particular city, a particular country, you know Poland, you know the relevance of this term in this whole document, you also know the place of the Poland. This finding aids didn't say Poland is where. The machine did that. Can you see that? The knowledge behind this. They connected Poland as a place with the geographical database behind this, right? And they talk about this. Another tool that you also can try, you just go home and try that, it's called Congenital Intelligence API, and it was used by government, mainly anti-terrorism. They look at the data and find out who is related to what, right? I use the same text, go here, and immediately you can see the geographical location, the relevance, and the relationship between people. Now, each of the tab, you can see text mining, what is in text, semantic reasoning, fact mining, fact, dig it up, emotions, the positive, negative, and people, related people, organizations, and places, all here. And then you can see what is, for example, I chose people. I can see the people, and not only that, but also the relationships between people. All these things I can see is that they come from the text, right? They analyze the relevance and they give you this information. Very useful. Much more than just that finding aids, original finding aids, right? But this is another good example. Behind this is you can see the output is RDF XML, and you can see the detailed information why it was used to be this, come with this way. Each place, okay? So this is my other example about that. And we did one of the research of 45 finding aids using 3 tools. I'm not going to go through that, but I will see how the machine can tell you. Entity extraction, tagging, categorization, is reasoning, fact mining, and data visualization. I also use this tool to do Twitter. If you collect the Twitter about a fact, for example, about a particular event happened, you take the Twitter around that place, about 20 miles or 200 miles or even more. And then how you analyze, you use this kind of tool to analyze what facts were there. It's so wonderful, so quick. Okay, what about non-textual images? There are things that come in the way that is images. The oral history, manuscript, images themselves, and the pictures, right? So this is another thing that I want to show you how the humanities are using data to do this. This is International Image Interoperability Framework. You can read as IIIF. IIIF. Right? IIIF has 2 API. This one is the image API. If you look at one image, you can see that it divided into different ways. You can look by region, you can look by size, mirror, rotation, quality. Everything is in one URL. So if we can go online, we can try this one. You can right here, and we do. So you can try the online, and the reason is that because behind each chunk, you can see the URL is analyzed by, we get that? Yes. So you can see this particular image here, but then you can try, for example, I want to see a particular part of the image, and you can try the image, for example, this part. You can see the detail, and you can see different kind of sizes, smaller or bigger. You can rotate, see how it looks like the upside down or some other way. So you can do the rotation and see different way. But all you can see why this happening. It's very smart URI, right? Very smart URI. That is happening. So you can try that by yourself later when you go home. Okay. But that's the image API. Because when we analyze images, we see that sometimes we want different zoom into particular parts. Someone want to see how it looks like in a different way, right? So this is the URI that smartly categorize each part and make this happening. Okay, you can try this at home. Not only for 2D images. You see, this is in the Harvard club that you can also try to look at a 3D object. So you look at a 3D object, zoom in, zoom out, and then look at a particular part of the site. This is so wonderful for designers and also for historians, for artists. All of this will be useful. And you know exactly you cite because you want to tell another people, you tweet or email, say, look at that. But without this particular URL that show you exactly the location or size, resolution, quality, you will say, look at that. Then you send a big image. People still don't know what you're talking about, right? So how to cite, how to share, how to reuse with this kind of app, you will be able to work on that. That's the first one. Did I see? Okay, come back. The second API is the presentation API, how you describe things. So they have the base of the content, then put into the canvas. Then you have multiple canvas, page 1, page 2, page 3, and then you have manifest together. Let's see one of the examples. So you scan, digitize the image. Now, when you just scan that, it's not very useful. People have to see that. So now with this model, you can have different chunks. You see this corresponding to that, right? And then the individual parts could have the transcript, to have transcript. Can be first by machine or human correct them. But that's not enough because what this part maybe mention the place or time or particular object, so you get people to annotate that. You see that putting the so the artists or researchers together annotate, say, okay, I think this part has some important concept, I annotate that. So if everything like this becomes, like using this old data are transferred behind this is JSON. You probably know the JSON. This is JSON format data, so it can be shared. And you can pull the images from different locations, British Museum, Yale Museum, Library, and you can get some information from a different language and compare. The canvas can be 4 sites or 20, different. You can use all of this. It's very good. It's called IIIF. And then the metadata, when they show this, they will give you the details of metadata, so what should be in this metadata, what should not be in this metadata, very clear. If you have time to do it. The last thing is our real project for the humanities. I want to show this because it's related to my university, the Kent State, and also related to Samsung here, your university is hosted by Samsung. So the liquid crystal issued 50 years anniversary, and they have impacted us so many. Everyone knows use smartphone, right? Display computer, and all this. Where did this come from? This 50 years research and development, including one of our Samsung VP for the Samsung display called It's Dr. Zeng. I think that's the Korean name, right here. And she emailed me today, actually, and said, and he, so many development and so many things. The graduate go to the Apple, develop the iPad, and later iPhone. And he was here, and another Korean is LG, all of them. But scientists don't say how they grade, how whatever. They don't even treat anything. So we're studying the impact of this issue. We're studying the relationship between those. So we want to replicate this network analysis, just like that the 3,000 years history. We want to see how people, the publication, the patent they get, the grants and collaborate they have all together. What kind of way push them and make this successful and then share. But in the analysis process, this is reality. You also do learn in here how to analyze data. But we found that, you see which one is more difficult in terms of difficulty level on those parts. Data selection, data cleaning, data transformation, analyze, visualization, which part is most difficult? The difficult part is getting cleaned up from the mass data. That's our tips. So it's not really easy, but we go to the moon not because it's easy, it's because it's difficult. I think that's your mission for the future as a data scientist and the library information science. Thank you.
Any questions?
We can discuss a little bit.
Right. No other questions? Okay. We finish our